Now, to the fight against Ebola, a new study shows that an experimental Ebola vaccine, which is being tested on monkeys, can work for 5 weeks or up to 10 months if used in conjunction with a booster shot. In a study published Sunday in the journal Nature Medicine, researchers from the U.S. National Institute of Health said the experimental vaccine regimen produced a durable immunity against the virus. Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday, U.S. President Barack Obama says the U.S. military will help with the fight against the Ebola virus, which has killed more than 2,000 people in West Africa since March.
And we're going to have to get U.S. military assets just to set up, for example, isolation units and equipment there to provide security for public health workers surging from around the world. If we do that, then it's still going to be months before this problem is controllable in Africa, but it shouldn't reach our shores. Now, here's the last point I'm going to make. If we don't make that effort now, and this spreads, not just through Africa, but other parts of the world, there's the prospect then that the virus mutates, it becomes more easily transmittable.
Well, Ebola continues to spread in Liberia's capital, Monrovia. Health workers are struggling to identify and isolate the sick before they can infect others. The outbreak is paralyzing the country's public health system, and existing Ebola treatment units are having to turn suspected cases away. Viewers and Look reports that volunteers are now going door to door looking for sick people.
A brief celebration amid all the sickness and death. 12 Ebola survivors are released from the government-run Elwa 2 treatment unit. Deputy Health Minister Tolbert Ninsua says they are making progress every day in Monrovia. But
the fact is that transmission is still going on. I am not saying that transmission has been broken. No, I cannot deceive the world.
Liberia must outflank the virus. Health volunteers have started doing rounds in the West Point shantytown. They don't use the word Ebola.
Okay, we are here on health matters. We want to know as to whether you have any sick person, somebody suffering from malaria, fever, typhoid, pressure, any of that thing. No one is sick. All the children well?
It's the height of the malaria and typhoid season, and those people need care. But Ebola also has similar symptoms. Suspected cases must be found and taken to isolation. The team hears there may be someone sick near the mosque, so they head that way. Is anyone sick here, they ask. Has anyone died recently?
Nobody died yet. We will let you people know. We won't have no patient yet. I'm not talking about patient per se. Those who are experiencing malaria, fever, headache, sharp pain. Okay, these are things, information we want.
2 houses away, there's a sick girl. She's had fever and vomiting. They add her to their list. They say a response team will follow up, but no one seems to know who will come or when. Back at the area's health center, the waiting room is near empty. Staff say people are scared to come, scared it may be contaminated or that they may be taken to isolation. Contact tracers deliver their reports. They've just visited about 150 people related to 30 suspected Ebola victims. Supervisor Marie Hiding says these daily follow-ups are chipping away at resistance.
Because when you see somebody going to your house every day, oh, how are you coming on? Are you sick today? No. You know, and they will be happy to see us because they will know that we are care for them and we are concerned.
The government lifted the quarantine on West Point on August 30th. Authorities barricaded the area after a mob attacked this holding center for suspected Ebola patients on August 17th. The quarantine led to panic and was criticized as counterproductive. Government spokesman Louis Brown defends it.
There was a level of denial that needed in our mind shock therapy. People needed to be sort of awakened to the fact that, look, this is deadly and it is serious. And this is no hanky-panky business.
But as resistance fades, another challenge is amplified. Where can sick people go? Ebola treatment units in the capital are full. Doctors Without Borders is expanding this unit to add 280 beds. Other agencies are building 5 more units to open later this month. Ann Look, VOA News, Monrovia.